So hi, I'm Keith Ferrazzi, and when I travel, the first thing I do when I land is I make sure that I book an extraordinary trainer. And in this case, I'm here in Dublin, and I'm here with Keane. But what I asked Brian is, there are sometimes that I don't have an opportunity to work with a great trainer everywhere. It might be out in the middle of nowhere or at a hotel that doesn't have particularly good equipment. So I said to Brian, is there anything that he can help me do for like 15 minutes that would totally burn a great workout that I could pass on to you? So Brian, what do you think?
Okay, so Keith, so what we're going to do today is we're just going to do a bodyweight thing that you can do anywhere in the world. You can use your hotel room, you can use a gym. All you need is a space long enough for your body. So I'm going to take you through a workout now. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a massive fan of Keith's book. I'm always plugging it on my social media because it's one of my favorites for networking and mentorship. So do you mind if I ask a few questions as we go through the workout?
That'll be a lot of fun.
Brilliant.
Right,
okay, first move we're going to do, Keith, is just going to be bodyweight push-ups. Again, if you have a mat, brilliant. But if you're in a hotel room, you don't need anything, just your own body weight and enough room that you can do the move.
Just regular push-ups.
Regular push-ups. We're going to go 60 seconds and then we're going to take a 15-second break, and then we're going to switch up our move.
I'm not sure 60 seconds is something that I can keep doing push-ups for, but we'll see.
Well, I would aim for 60 seconds, and you can do what's called a rest pause. So this is how I train. So as soon as you hit failure, take a 5 or 6 second break, and then just keep going to failure until your 60 seconds is up.
All right. These are feeling like long 60 seconds.
We're about 15 seconds in.
Oh,
so as soon as you feel your body hitting failure,
you're going to slow down a little bit.
I'd slow right down.
Right.
I'd say keep as much tension on the muscle as you can. This is a great move. A way to regress this as well, if you can't do full push-ups, is just drop onto your knees and then drop in. So if you're not able to do a full push-up, anybody, I know there's people with a weaker upper body strength, injuries, it's just drop into your knees and you can do the same move.
All right.
That's brilliant. 20 seconds to go.
20 seconds ago. We're going to do this.
That's it. If you hit failure, all I do is drop to your knees, 3-4 seconds, take a breath, and then you can go again.
So I'm going to do this just for everybody else, not because I need it. Right? Just so everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is the regression. So this is what you can do. As soon as you hit failure, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Take a 15-second break.
Thank you.
Take a breather. Keith, one of my favorite parts of the book, a concept I never thought of, was the pinging that you talk about, where you literally stay top of mind with people. So for those of you that don't know, pinging is basically when you've made a network, made a connection with somebody, and you just send them out a message, send them out an email, send them out something to stay on track with them. I read the book. I've actually reread it recently before I knew we were going to meet up. How do you think that's changed with social media now? Do you think that's taken it away or has made it better?
Well, I mean, I think pinging used to be thinking about the most important people in your business or personal life, and then just staying in touch. No different than, if you live out of town, you call your mother every day, whatever that's called pinging. But now with social media and with all the technology that we have available for us, we can set reminders, we can use Facebook, we can have constant ways to reach out to people. And I can say that it's actually really beneficial because when you see something going on in somebody else's life, the ability to respond on social media, congratulating them, giving condolences, engaging them, being of service, responsive to what's going on in their lives, so much more impactful for pinging. Now what I can say though is it gets easier for everybody. So as a result, I would say you're going to have to go that extra mile. Since everybody's on Facebook, everyone's going to be able to do that normal little annual birthday. Birthdays used to be a big deal. Now it's something that's automated inside of your social media. So you're going to have to go the extra step for people to know you really care.
Yeah, I love that for those of you that, I don't know if I see this in a keynote you did or in the book about Thanksgiving cards, that you send out Thanksgiving cards because everybody sends Christmas cards.
I'm not sure, do you have Thanksgiving over
here? We don't have it here, but I remember reading that.
You can still send out a Thanksgiving card.
It was amazing. I remember thinking, I was like, Halloween cards? I was like, we can do something similar here.
Okay, so New Year's cards.
New Year's cards. All over that. There we go, tip. New Year's cards. All right, next move we're going to do is just going to be a crunch. So you're going to go down onto the floor, and you're literally just going to crunch your legs, coming straight up and coming into a sit-up movement like this.
I was actually told two things. One is you keep your hand on your abs and feel the exercise. Does that help? And then the second question I had is, people have said you need to lift as if you're lifting straight up. Does that make a difference?
As long as you're not putting any pressure on your lower back or your neck or your traps, that will work great. My advice would be, I love that tip on your stomach. So I put both hands on your stomach so you keep it similar and keep the contraction all the way through your stomach. And then as soon as you feel it going into your hips or into your trap or necks, drop your legs for 3-4 seconds, take a break, and then try and exhale on every rep. So as you come up, exhale on the way up. That's it. Breathe in on the way down and squeeze through your core on the way up.
You started your clock, right?
I've started the clock. You're good. Great move for abs. As soon as you feel the contraction coming out of your abs, these are my favorite. These are the ones that I would do at home. There was a time when I used to just do 100 every morning before breakfast, and it works great.
We do a ton of these at Barry's Boot Camp. I know there's a Barry's in London. I don't know if there's one up in Dublin.
No, I don't think so.
Barry's Boot Camp is an extraordinary 1 hour workout in person in Los Angeles, New York, and everywhere. Highly recommend it to anybody. It's my t-shirt.
Nice, Barry's Boot Camp. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. At 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax.
All right.
Awesome, good job, Keith.
Beautiful.
Okay, next question. For somebody, I was at, for those of you who don't know, I was at the Pendulum Summit today. I've been following Keith for ages, since I read his book 3-4 years ago, Never Eat Alone, his first book. And it was something that made me think about mentors and networking with people and getting to, after today, a lot of stuff landed with actually how to make connections with people, lead with generosity, all of these things that you talked about. What advice would you offer to somebody that's not naturally good at the networking side of things? People that can be okay socially, but what advice would you offer them?
I'll give you a piece of advice that actually works really well for this environment too of working out. Having a buddy system and working first on a close, more intimate group of people. A lot of people aren't good at networking because they're so fearful of being transactional or being not themselves, fake in some fashion. And in actuality, I'm trying to suggest to people that you should walk around this world creating an environment that's authentic, that's true, that's intimate, that's connected, that's vulnerable, that's of service, etc., to as many people as possible. Because if you're with somebody for 5 minutes, you can make that interaction a transactional, meaningless, or a meaningful interaction. So if you're not good at it, just pick a few people that you're already close to and say to yourself, I'm going to work harder to be more open, be more connected, stay in touch to these 5 people that are meaningful to me already, right? And get in that habit of developing those kind of relationships where it's comfortable. You've got to be comfortable, right? Now, the other thing that happens with working out is the same thing. If you've got a workout buddy, a number of years ago I went on Dr. Oz, the television show, and if you have it over here, Mehmet is a good friend of mine. And I went on Dr. Oz and I talked about how 2 people could go to the gym together every day. And what we find is statistically, if you've got a buddy system, somebody that really has your back, that you're committing to a goal together, that you'll have higher degrees of success. So you can easily apply this small, intimate group of people that won't let each other fail. That kind of who's got your back, I've got your back, I will not let you fail relationships. Apply that first and then broaden it out to your network. Now, I wrote the books in the opposite order, but sometimes if you're really shy, it might be better to read Who's Got Your Back first.
Okay, that's definitely what I'm getting on today. You talked a lot in the keynote today at the Pendulum Summit about the 5 people, having your 5 people. Who are the 5 people that have your back, and making sure those relationships are strong. Some of those ideas today just landed so much for me, because I talk so much about the the famous quote, the Jim Rohn, the average of the 5 people you're hanging around with, but that was like the next level of that, where you gotta make sure you cement those relationships and make sure those relationships are strong. So definitely check out that book, guys, too, if you haven't. That's one I'm going to be getting. That's on Audible as well. I'm a big audiobook guy. That's on Audible as well, so make sure you check it out on Audible.
I didn't personally read either of those books on audio, so it won't be my accent, it'll be somebody else's.
Yeah, it's somebody else on it, because Never Eat Alone is not on the UK version, because that's why I have the hard copy of it.
What do we got?
Okay, next move. We are going to go another ab move. We're going to go coming across. They're called bicycle crunches. So you're starting in this position, hands in your head, coming across your body, opposite knee to opposite elbow, opposite knee to opposite elbow. We're going to go another ab move.
I'm into this.
That's it. Legs straight, and then there we go. That's it. 60 seconds. And coming across. That's it. Try and work. Slow it down. Keep all the contraction through your abs. Nice. Well done, Keith.
So faster isn't better?
That's it. No, slow it down. On abs, it's always about creating tension on the muscle, tearing as many fibers as possible, and because it's harder. It works at different fibers. You're going to get a little bit more fast twitch fibers when you go really fast, but slowing it down creates more tension. As soon as you feel that contraction coming off your stomach, drop your legs down, let the air out of your stomach, and then go back into it. So as soon as your abs stop working, just drop your feet to the floor, take a big breath out, and then go back into it. That's it. 20 seconds left. Doing great.
These are easier than push-ups.
Yeah, nice little move. We'll mix it all up. 10 seconds. That's it. Well done, Keith. Nearly there. 3, 2, one, and relax. Well done. Killer one. You want abs or a flat stomach? That's going to be the king of your moves. That's probably my second favorite ab move after the first one we did. Okay, so I suppose next question, Keith. People have called your book, and I completely agree, that it's the Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's the modern day. I actually read your book first, so I read Dale Carnegie's, and I was like, oh, that's what Keith was saying. So it's funny how that goes.
He sold a few more copies than
yeah, give it time. That book
but I'm not dead. So.
Yeah, exactly. You know, give it time.
Yeah.
But you talk a lot about mentorship and how it's so important to, you know, you have a great story in the book, and you told today at the keynote about Miss Poland, or Mrs. Poland, how she was not effectively a mentor, but she led you on the path to your mentors who helped you through your life. What advice would you offer people that, I get asked this, I do Snapchat Q&As and Facebook Live Q&As, and one of the most frequent thing people ask me is, how do I get a mentor? How do I go about that? What advice would you offer those people?
Well, I think the most important thing is you don't walk up to somebody and just say, will you be my mentor, if you don't really know them, they have no connection to you, etc. I mean, it's like walking into a bar and saying, would you marry me, right? The answer is, let's go through a little bit of courtship here.
Yeah.
I think the best way to get a mentor is to find somebody that you have respected, that you've engaged with. Ask them for just a bit of advice, right? Go up to somebody at work and say, boy, I really respected what you've achieved. Can you give me a little bit of advice? Here's something I'm struggling with. Here's something I'm thinking about. Can you tell me what the most important thing is you learned in doing, you know, your career when you were my age, whatever it was, right? And then say, thank you. Walk away, go and execute it, and then come back to them and say, hey, I want to really, really thank you. That piece of advice, I executed in the following way, and look at the results that I got. It was really extraordinary. Thank you so much, right? Can I have another piece of advice? And then based on that iterative, getting the advice, going and using it, applying it, and coming back to that individual, what you're going to find is that that person's going to want those interactions. They're going to feel so good about themselves for having helped you that they're going to want more and more and more. So at that point, you can already call them your mentor, even though you don't even have to ask them at any point, right? Because I think a lot of people these days are very busy. And they're like, oh my God, a mentor? What does that mean? What do I have to do? You know, am I going to be able to fulfill that requirement, etc.? Just do it and worry about the labor probably later.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, what I'm saying is that by virtue of asking for advice, you're ending up giving them a generous gift. You're making them feel better about themselves, right? So in all relationships, Mrs. Poland and others, as I explained about Mrs. Poland relationship, I was the best caddy there. I busted my back end. I showed up a half an hour early at the golf course. I knew where all the pins were placed, etc. You lead with generosity. You always lead with being of service to people. Nothing frustrates me more than somebody who has heard I'm an eloquent speaker, and they'll send me a note or an email. They'll come up to me and say, hey, I'd like to have you as my mentor. And they've never read my book. They've never done the hard work themselves. They're not coming with a smart question, right? They just expect to be spoon-fed without having done the hard work. Somebody comes up to me like yourself and says, oh my God, you have made such a big deal, an impact on my career and on my business. Here's the stuff that I've used. I've really been thinking about it. I have a question about this particular area of your book. Can I take it to the next level with you? And I'm all over that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I've noticed that. It's funny because I would nearly...
I'm sure you get it as well.
I get it a lot through the fitness side of it, but it's funny because I would consider you a mentor through having read your book and making reference to it. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to, because this is our first time meeting. Yesterday was our first time meeting face to face, but I would consider you a mentor. When I think networking and I think mentors and I think that, I go to your book and I check the sections on that and I'll flick through, the section that has lead with generosity.
Well, now you can text me.
Yeah, and now I can text you, so that's awesome. Okay,
awesome.
Next move,
Next
Keith.
one.
We're going to go standing on this one. We're going to go bodyweight squats and turn this into a full body. So because you have a little bit of an issue with your glutes and getting them to fire, you're going to take a slightly wider stance on a normal squat and you're going to drop down and then come all the way up. And we're going to go 60 seconds dropping into a squat.
By the way, I wouldn't necessarily say I have an issue with my glutes.
Oh, not so much an issue with your glutes. Keith needs his glutes to fire more. So does everybody. This is literally a standard thing across. If you're an athlete...
Apparently I've got a glute issue.
Yeah. Don't mind, he's got a great ass, it's fine. Everybody needs to work their glutes more. It's something that happens if you sit at a desk, if you're an executive, if you're an athlete, you need to get your glutes to fire. As an athlete, that's your primary move that gets you firing, makes you faster, makes you jump higher. If you're an executive and you're sitting all day, this is where lower back pain comes in, and people get issues with their hamstrings, lower back, neck. It's normally from your glutes and sitting all day and not firing.
Like you were telling me, if I squeeze at the top, I actually feel that going into my lower back as well.
Yeah.
It feels like a really great stretch.
Yeah, and that's what it does. When you squat and you see what Keith's doing here and he's squeezing through his glutes, it's pulling the whole kinetic chain back into alignment. That's what's so great about squats. So you can take it out of your quads, you're going to get quads and hamstrings as well, last 5 seconds, but you're also going to straighten up everything through the kinetic chain and give yourself a much better chance of having lower reduced risk of back injuries. And relax. Take a breather. Awesome, okay, we got one more move.
What are we going to next?
Okay, I got one more question. This one is separate because this one actually came up for me today, and it's probably more to do with your second book.
Yep.
Basically, you talk about the 5 people and how it's so important to develop those relationships. And the question that came up for me today when I was listening was, how do you decide who those 5 people are? That, and I don't know if that's a good question or not, but it came up for me today.
So, if you recognize that the work we typically do is with very large corporations transforming culture to fit their strategy. So if you're working for a company that's 250,000 people strong and they've got a strategy to reinvent the customer experience and improve customer service, the most important people that you have to focus on in changing culture, which is just changing behaviors, is the subset of people most critical to the customer experience.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing for you. Who are the 5 most critical people to your goals?
Yeah.
So set your goals. You've got a website, right?
www.briankeanefitness.com
briankeanefitness.com, which I'm going to go on and take a look at. Hopefully download some of your videos and use them when I'm on the road. Is that the idea?
Yeah,
Great.
that'd be brilliant.
So my presumption is a part of that is for you to get that traffic up, right? Well, we're doing that right here.
Yeah.
So the business executives that are watching this video can go to briankeanefitness.com. Now, I'm one of those individuals that you might have on your list of 5.
Yeah.
Who are the other individuals you would have on your list of 5 in order to advance the numbers on your website? Who are the individuals that have entirely different revenue streams? It's like maybe they're doing fitness camps.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I've watched so-and-so's fitness camp. Or you might want to get a hold of, Joey, who's the CEO of Barry's Boot Camp, or actually Barry himself, who started Barry's Boot Camp, and figure out what their path was through fitness. So those are called learning network. So you have some people you're going to get to know in order to learn from, a learning network. You're going to have other people that are opportunity network, meaning, you're going to get to know them because I just talked to somebody yesterday who got to know Tony Robbins, and they were an author, and as a result, Tony invited them in to be a part of his conferences, right? That's an opportunity network. Okay. So you get to know somebody and all of a sudden, boom, an opportunity presents itself. So the question I would have is, what are your strategies and how do you align your strategies to the people you're looking for?
Okay, that's brilliant. That's a real personal one to me, and that answered the question amazingly. So thank you.
All right, what am I going to do in terms of the last exercise?
Okay, we're going mountain climbers, so push-up position, and you're going to bring your knees up, and we're going to speed this one up and get our heart rate up a little bit on the last move.
Okay, great. We'll do.
Last one, 60 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. This is a great move. Mountain climber is one of my favorites because you can slow it down and get a bit more contraction on the abs, or you can speed it up and get your heart rate up. The key to anyone that's looking to lose body fat and just get a good workout is getting your heart rate above 70%. When you're at 70% or above your max heart rate, you're in your quote-unquote fat burning zone.
How do I got a fat burn some zone here for me from Christmas.
Yeah.
So how do I amp this up?
Then we speed you right up. We speed you right up. There we go. That's the one. So what you would do is, put these 5 moves together and you just put them back to back 3 times. You've got a 15-minute workout there, and that's your fat burning. You're going to tear fibers and elevate your metabolism, which means you're going to burn more body fat while you rest, and you're going to have burned a load of calories while you're training through elevating your heart rate to 80-90%. When 70% 15 seconds, Keith. 70% is your max heart rate and you're in your fat burning zone, you're probably going to be in about 80-90% of these back to back.
Okay. So they can go 2, 1,
relax.
All right, so for more information, you go to briankeanefitness.com.
Yeah, you can check me out, briankeanefitness.com. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all Brian Keane Fitness. Snapchat, BrianK019. And podcast is the Brian Keane Fitness Podcast. And to find out more about Keith,
KeithFerrazzi.com. Other than that, hoping somebody will fill in all the other social media stuff. at the bottom of this video.
Nice, yeah, we got that covered.
Right.
Thank you so much, Keith.